got to meet Adam Lambert, the voice of Chip, and meet a puppet. I got called Blondie all night. That's a pretty good night if you ask me. Hello and welcome back to Ashley U Life. In today's class, we are going to talk about my night on August 11th. I went to Hollywood with some friends and I had the most crazy, interesting, and fun night, and I just have to share. So where did this all begin? How did I end up at a puppet pop-up speakeasy? Well, it all began when my friend Laura texted us all on a group message. It was me, my husband, her, and her husband. And she sends me this link and she follows it up by saying, "What are you guys doing next Saturday? Sounds kind of cool. My brother wants to go and we got tickets to get in and he said he'd drive us." I mean, oh, that sounds great. So I look at this link and I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't even understand, but the fact that I don't understand makes it like that much better. And I'm like, heck yes, I want to go to something I don't understand. It'll be fun. I love doing new things. So we're like, yeah, we're in. Thus began the planning of a fun night out in Hollywood. So Kevin picked up Laura and Johnny. He came to pick us up and we headed out to LA, and we decided that we're going to go to someplace fun for dinner before we go to this speakeasy because we couldn't get into there till about 10 o'clock, and that's when our ticket reservations were for. We tried to go to this really cool rooftop restaurant called Mama Shelter that's on top of an old hotel, I think. We're trying to go up there.
Let's hit the top of
Let's see if we get there. So this rooftop had a 2-hour wait. They don't take reservations, but we made reservations somewhere else just in case. We were smart thinking. Good tip. If you want to go to a place that doesn't take reservations, make sure to make reservations somewhere else just in case it doesn't work out. So that's what we did. We made reservations at a different restaurant. It was a little tapas restaurant called the Running Goose. And yeah, it was really, really good. It was fun. Nice to do something different. Would I go back? I don't know. I think the only thing I really was in love with was their short rib. Everything else was, I could kind of take it or leave it. Then it was time to go off to this puppet speakeasy. So we go walking down Hollywood Boulevard. We're like in the middle of it all. I also lived down in the LA area for like 10 years of my life too. I lived in Burbank, but just over the hill was Hollywood. So I'm very used to being up there. But we're walking down Hollywood Boulevard and we get to where we're going, and then we see this like line around the block. And we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? We went up to the front. We're like, hey, we have reservations. And they're like, yep, this is the line for the reservations. So what can you do when tickets are free? Like, we didn't have to pay for anything. We just had to make the reservation to hold our place basically. So we're like, all right. So we stood in line for like 40 minutes because apparently it was so cool inside that people did not want to leave. So we finally get inside. They gave us this little wristbands with like 2 drink tickets on it, and we walk inside, and it was like walking into this movie. Like, I've not seen this movie yet. It hasn't even come out yet. I believe it comes out next week on the 24th, but I could just imagine what the movie is going to be like from being in this place. So what they were doing this for was to make it like a big promotion for the movie. The movie is called the Happytime Murders, and it has Melissa McCarthy, it has McHale, and Rudolph. Lots of big names in it. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, go watch it. I have to warn you though, it is not child appropriate. Like, definitely some adult content in there, so just be warned. It's funny though, but just like really, really very naughty. Anyway, so we go in and we get greeted and we're told where to go, and it's just like there's just like so much going on. You're like, I don't even know what to do. I just wanted to kind of take you on like a little stroll around the place. The bar was really cool. They gave you like 2 drink cocktails to choose from. Here's the bartender. You're gonna want to remember him for later because he has a lot to do with a really fun story that I have. And they also had a blackjack table, and it was funny because it wasn't until I watched the videos that I took back that I realized that the puppet's name at the blackjack tables, his name was Jack. And I was like, you know what? That makes a whole lot of sense. Blackjack, Jack. And then they also had entertainment. They had a burlesque dancer, and then they had a puppet guy, and then they had a puppet girl.
Because guess what? Guess who gets to perform for you right now? My ex-wife, Sparkles!
Never know how much I care when you put your arms around me. I get a fever that's so hard to bear. You give me fever.
And in the middle of that was where the human entertainment is, I guess I'll say.
Party for a dream of mine.
They had a comedian.
Oh God, it's getting awkward. Girls, you're both reasonably attractive. Calm down.
All right, guys, I'm Lito Las Palmas. I love you all. I'm leaving. All right.
Lito Las Palmas, everybody! Well, that got comfortable really quickly. You guys having a good time?
actually got to meet the guy puppet that was next to the stage. We got to shake hands.
Look at this little dagger here. You guys are having the best time ever, aren't you? Yeah. You're having a good time. What's your name here, Blondie? Come here.
Ashley.
What's your name? Ashley.
Ashley.
Everyone, this is Ashley, everybody. Ashley, turn around. Everyone say hi, Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
And I kept on getting called Blondie all night by all the puppets. They'd be like, hey, Blondie, get over here.
What's your name here, Blondie? Come here.
Where's the blonde? Get the blonde over. What's your name?
It was just really funny, but it was fun. Then you could go to like kind of like a backstage area where they had like kind of like X-rated puppet stuff, for lack of a better term. So you just kind of wandered around there, and I took a little bit of video so you can kind of see it. They had like puppets on a stripper pole basically, which was funny. I mean, they were just kind of stagnant there and spinning around, but it was very, very funny. But they just did a really good job of like pulling all this together, and it was like totally free. But it's kind of like walking advertisement, because I went to it, I'm now talking about it, you'll now know about it, you're probably going to go look up the trailer for the movie, and then you're probably going to want to go see the movie if that's your kind of humor, you know? So basically free publicity, you know, it's a win-win. We got to have a good night, do something kind of interesting, and they get to have people see their stuff because we're going to tag it on social media. They kept on saying, make sure to hashtag the Happytime Murders, which of course I will. And oh, I don't think I told you, so this place we were going, I don't think I actually told you the name. The Speakeasy, they were calling it the ink hole, and so their little tag phrase was fill your drink hole in the ink hole. I don't know, super funny. Things that rhyme are funny, you know? So yeah, then at one point I was standing kind of in the middle of the room, kind of like right here in front of where like the human performers would perform. I looked over to my right and I saw that it was like the bartender guy, and he was just hanging out right there. I'm like, hey, if you're over here, like who's over there? And it was getting later, so I think they were kind of like shutting down that part of the night. But we just started talking, and we really just like hit it off. And like then with the girl puppet Sparkle, she started to do her little performance. She was like singing on top of a piano. It was very cute. And so we kind of sat down and watched it.
Nice hat. Spend a little time with me.
Just chatting and talking and whatever, and he goes to me, hey, do you know who Adam Lambert is? And I was like, well, yeah, of course, I don't live under a rock. He's like, that's him right there. And these people had just like walked by us, right? And I just could see like the back of somebody, and I was like, I don't know, I mean, like, just looks like the back of somebody. He's like, no, it is, come on. So he gets up, he like drags me over there with him, and he's like walking and goes, hey Adam, and Adam Lambert turns around in my face, and oh my gosh, he was about as tall as me, I'd say. But honestly, I didn't look down, so I don't know what kind of shoes he was wearing. I don't think he was wearing any kind of platform or anything, so I think he was about my height. My new friend Freddie, the bartender, he goes, hey Adam, this is Ashley. And he turns to me, sticks out his hand, and goes, nice to meet you, Ashley. And I go, nice to meet you too, Adam. And I was like, you have beautiful eyes, because his eyes were gorgeous, like seriously so bright blue. And he's like, oh, he's like, you have beautiful eyes. And I was like, thank you. It must be the glitter, hashtag year of glitter. So then we just like stood there talking for about maybe 2 minutes or so, and he was kind of asking me like how I ended up here at this place, and I told him it was kind of just like random, and I didn't even know what I was like getting myself into, but it was like really fun and pretty cool. And he pretty much said the same thing. He's like, yeah, my friend was like, hey, you want to come with me to this event tonight? And he's like, so now here I am. And so I don't know, it was just really fun. He was a very nice guy. I mean, should I have asked for a picture? Probably, but I was playing it super cool because I don't know, I'm just not one of those people that likes to go up to celebrities and say, hey, can I have a picture with you please? I'm just not that person, which is funny because I take pictures and videos of things all the time. I would rather like enjoy that moment right there and like have like a real conversation than to like ruin it and be like, can we grab a picture real quick? Like I didn't want to try to be like, I love you so much. I'm a fan of his. I'm not like a crazy fan like I am of Britney. But it was still a pretty cool like thing to have happen. And so he goes off to go to the blackjack tables, and I continue to talk to my friend Freddie. And then we ended up actually taking a couple pictures together. And so I go, hey, well, what's your Instagram handle so that I can like tag you or whatever? And so he goes, well, Freddie's not really my real name. And I was like, okay. He's like, well, you know Bella Luna. And he points to the stage, and the burlesque dancer had just been dancing a little bit. So I go, oh, the dancer? And he goes, yeah. And he's like, you find her, you find me. Then I got put on this like mission that I have to like find this guy for some reason. I don't know. I'm just a fun person like that, and I like to be social and make new friends. I couldn't find him that night because her handle ended up being a little bit more tricky than I thought. So the next morning I did this like total investigating on my computer. I Google searched her and I put in the ink hole and I put in the Happytime Murder and I tried to see who would pop up with all those things, and I found her, and her handle has an XO in front of it and it's not just her name, so that's why I couldn't just find it by typing her name in. So then found her page, started scrolling, I saw pictures of him. There he is. Turns out they're dating. So I was like, oh my gosh. So finally she tagged him in something. I was able to find him. And so then I sent him a little message and said, I found you. And I was like, nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. And then I actually looked at like his page and his like description, and guess what? It gets even crazier. His name was not Freddie. His name is actually Bradley Pierce. And he was actually the voice of Chip from Beauty and the Beast. And he was also the little boy in Jumanji. And he's done a bunch of other things too. But he actually owns his own business for like bartending and burlesque with his girlfriend. So they kind of do events and stuff, hence why he was there bartending. So everything kind of started to make sense. But it was still such a weird, crazy night. I got to meet Adam Lambert. I got to meet the voice of Chip. And I got to see and meet a puppet and shake its hand. And I got called Blondie all night. What can I say? That's a pretty good night if you ask me. And so by then it was about midnight or so, and we were all kind of ready to go, and the place was like kind of closing down, but we could not leave without stopping at the original Tommy's. If you've never heard of the original Tommy's, they're all called original Tommy's, but this is like legit like the original OG Tommy's, the very first one. They are known for their like chili cheese burgers and their fries, and it's just, I mean, not the best for you, but it's good for you. So we stopped there. None of my friends had ever been to that location, and some of them had never even had original Tommy's before. So we got to stop there and eat it, and it was super fun little late night thing to do. And we all drove home, and man, that was our night. I could have never imagined any of that ever, but it happened. I hope that you had fun watching my little adventures. So this was just like a one weekend thing. I really don't think they're gonna be doing it again before the movie comes out on the 24th. So I hope you enjoyed this like little sneak peek into it and felt like you were there just a little bit too. So now before you go rush off and watch the trailer because I've got you so excited about the movie, make sure to like and share so other people can like and share. And don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next class. So Jack at the blackjack tables gave me like $10,000 to play blackjack.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for coming. Hey, you want to play some blackjack?
I think we're gonna try.
Make some room, make some room. Somebody, some of these addicts need to get up and make some room for my lovely friend here. Yeah, just squeeze her in. Hey, push up. There's room next to you in that other sausage head. Get in there.
Get in there, Rob.
Yeah, come on, darling, have a seat. Hey, you guys,
You're good people.
you guys hear about the murders? You guys hear about the murders? Some puppets got whacked in the alley back here.
Look at that. Look at that. What you did? You distracted me.
Hey, Blondie, how you doing? You winning?
It's all gone.
Thank you.
There it
Are you
goes.
done?
I know, there it
He's
goes.
done.
So then I got to play blackjack, and it was super fun. I really am kind of bummed though that I didn't get a picture with Adam Lambert. I got a picture with Bradley, but I didn't get a picture with Adam. Oh, but you know what I did do is the next day I found Adam Lambert on Instagram and actually started following him, and then I was like, how are people gonna believe that I was actually there and he was actually there and that I actually got to meet him? Well, I looked at his Instagram story, and what do you know? He Instagrammed some things.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jill. This is my establishment. I am the owner.
Yay. I love it when a plan comes together. Don't you?
See, he was there too. I totally met him. I just don't have picture proof, but he had really, really pretty eyes. And he was super, super sweet and very, very nice. And it was a pleasure to talk to him. It really was. But if you are new to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. All you have to do is click on my little face. And then if you click the little bell next to the subscribe button, it sends you a notification every time I upload a new class. So you don't have to miss out on any of this fun. You would have been so sad if you didn't go with me to the ink hole. Am I right? I know I'm right. I'll see you soon.